I don't have any shoes. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're partying with it.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it ever, or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Well, I tell you what, I got two teams that got me gassed up. It's going to be a hell of a battle. Be like two dogs fighting over a milk bucket.
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I could easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Group of 5 Guys podcast. I'm your host, Matt Sprouse. We got a little bit of a shorter show for you tonight. We got a big review of our trip out to the Lonestar State, UTSA visit, Texas State visit. We're going to review both of those facilities and just the time we had. But first, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all your podcast platforms. Make sure y'all follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Group of 5 Guys. And if you're looking for some Group of 5 Guys swag, you can just go to groupof5guys.com and help us out a little bit so we can afford to take our talents to some other places around the country. Before we go any further, let's go around the horn. Jesse, you were the only one not wearing a Texas State t-shirt tonight. How'd your weekend go?
Weekend was fantastic in the Nash Vegas with Zeke Anderson. We had a blast. Zeke showed me my wife around town. Yeah, he always acts like we've never been there before. And he takes you to bars you've been to 1,000 times. He's like, this is where you got to go.
This is Broadway.
Yeah. But no, we had a great time. Some new things have happened in my life now. I've become to realize that I love. I'm back on the Miller Lite train. Had a lot of Miller Lights in Nashville. All $9-10 a bottle for Miller Lite. Ooh. And then you know what else? A snack that's been around for years that is now my go-to. Every time I go to the store, I pick them up. Gas station, I pick them up. Y'all eat those Takis, the purple bag Takis, the spicy lime Takis?
I don't eat
Don't
those.
know what you're missing, my man. I love me some Takis. I love me some Miller Lite. Stranger Things is probably the best show that's been out since Game of Thrones. That's all I got.
Anybody?
No one likes Stranger Things. You kidding me?
No, I do.
It's
I
good.
I like Stranger Things a lot. I think
I go Game of Thrones.
It's a good show. You just you went from Miller Lite to those snacks to a Netflix
I'm
series
random.
show.
There's so much I want to say because I know y'all going to talk about Texas State, and I'm not going to have really any input. Here's my deal: Game of Thrones, Sopranos, Stranger Things, Takis over anything else, Miller Lite, and I saw my first stand-up show for the first time in ever, and dude, it is so much different than watching it on TV. Like I always see people laughing in the stands, and I'm like,
who'd you go see?
Eliza Schlesinger. She's like my wife's favorite comedian. But I didn't realize when you go watch a stand-up, there's always these like acts leading up to the main performer. And there was this guy, I'm going to give him a shout out. His name is Hunter Hill. He's up and coming. That dude had me crying, laughing so hard. A little inappropriate, some of his jokes. Can't really talk on here. But look him up, Hunter Hill. It was funny. It was a good time.
Where did you go? Did you go to Zany? Oh, nice.
It was a Ryman right off Broad. So I pretty much, out of the 3 days that we were there, I was on Broad probably 90% of the time. And I got to tell you, he's not on this podcast, but that guy, Zeke Anderson, he's a special type of breed. I don't know where he gets the energy. He doesn't sleep. He kind of just takes naps. He takes 30-minute naps. He'll be out till 3 o'clock in the morning, and he'll wake up at 9, ready to go on the boat. And I'm just like looking at him. I don't know how he does it. The guy is a freaking Energizer bunny with 4 batteries in him. Special breed. But he shout out to him. He took care of me and Michaela and was very hospitable. Had a blast. Wish I was in Texas State though. Had a little FOMO. Could not say that in front of my wife, but I had a little FOMO. Y'all had a blast. I know Jeff did. Jeff was blowing me up around 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday night. Jeff, how was your weekend?
I mean, it couldn't have gone any better, to be quite honest with you. We had such a good time. I mean, started out Friday, and we'll kind of get into the nitty-gritty details, but started out Friday, me and Tip got into San Antonio and got to check out UTSA, and they were super, super awesome over there and took care of us. Checked out all the Twitter suggestions in San Antonio, did all that, and then, man, went to San Marcos Friday and Saturday, and just, I mean, it was what an incredible time. It couldn't have been a better weekend, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Tip, do you echo the same sentiment there?
I do, yes. It was an incredible weekend, and we had an incredible time down there. And I wish we could have stayed longer. Because I'm a little tired. Been a little tired today, boys.
A little dinged up, Tip. A little dinged up.
5 and 6 a.m. flights.
Yeah, I don't think staying any longer would
early.
have helped the tired factor. I think you'd be hurting real bad.
The gear y'all have on looks really good, though.
Oh, they took
I like
care of
those
us
colors.
for sure, man. Yeah, that's what we were saying before we got on the show. It's a color we don't, I don't have this color in my closet. But well, anyway, I know you shouted out Zeke, but shout out Zeke. He's traveling. It's a busy man, so he's not going to be on this. But it's a shorter podcast today, so just kind of facilities reviews and all that. But start with UTSA. So, you guys knew the deal. Murph and Tip got into San Antonio, or flew into Austin Friday morning, and then drove on down to San Antonio. So give us a rundown. What'd you see first? Who'd you work with? What do you got?
Yeah, so we got into San Antonio that morning. And, man, shout out to Kevin Brown. He's the ops guy there. Put us in touch with James Gellido. He was kind of our tour for the day and just pretty much showed us everything. And head coach Jeff Traylor, got to shout him out too. He kind of organized and set everything up, put us in touch with the right people. But, I mean, as far as facilities go, man, they just moved into their new football facilities last July. And, I mean, it's top-notch. I mean, it's all brand new. The weight room, I mean, Sprouse, you would have just melted in that weight
I had a
room.
hard on just looking at the picture.
There's no doubt.
Weight room is incredible.
There's no doubt about it. So
Wait, you had a what?
A hard on?
Oh,
anyway, Sprouse is pitching a tent, looking at those
Jesus Christ.
weight room pictures. But no, the weight room was, I mean, it's massive. It's got everything you need. It's got the roll-up doors that goes right onto the practice field.
That's tight.
The practice field is going to have a pavilion over it, kind of like UAB does. I think he was saying by next year. And then right off of that turf field, they got grass fields. So it's all centrally located. It's got, like I said, everything you need. It's got a great nutrition center, which is super important. We always talk about that. And everything's just, I mean, it's brand new. So it's everything you get, everything you would want in football offices, facilities, meeting rooms. We got to see head coach's office, which was awesome. I know Tip loves some stuff in there, Tip.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say the training room and like recovery room area,
100%.
and like that treadmill pool was incredible. That thing was awesome. And they were you see all the players in there and recovering and stuff, and they can just come in there on their own time. And we saw several players coming in there after workouts, and so these new facilities are just so nice. And James mentioned to us that they keep all of their old facilities and stuff open as a reminder of what they were in, and show like this, we could be successful with these type of facilities, and look at us now in this brand new facility. It was state of the art. It was just an incredible facility.
Yeah, and we got to talk to Sam, who is the assistant to the head trainer for all the athletics, and I mean, he was just basically explaining to us how bought in the community is, everybody on campus, to what Coach Traylor's doing over there, and you could just feel it in that building. You can feel it by everybody you talk to, whether it's a staff member or coach, player. I mean, they're all about it, and they've just bought into, Coach Traylor's motto and his grind. And, he's a Texas guy. He's a Texas head coach for a long time, so he has all these connections in Texas. And he's really just playing off of that and kind of like a down and dirty kind of grind mentality. Like, this is who we are, San Antonio, and we're gonna beat you and win games, and we can do it in the old facilities that we were in, or you can see in the short span of time where we are now. So you can imagine in the next couple of years, like, where we're going. So that was, one of the things that he really, made important to us. And I mean, they're going places, man. They got a great program. They got a lot of guys coming back, a lot of firepower. So I don't see any reason to why they're not going to be, the top team or top one or two teams in Conference USA this year.
Jesse Grisham in the back.
Well, whenever y'all sent me those pictures of the UTSA facilities, which one I want to ask, it looked pretty clear. Those might be the nicest facilities we've seen in Group 5. Is that a clear winner, you think, or no?
They're up
Looking
there.
at the pictures, they looked similar. And Jesse, you got to see UAB stuff. I didn't get to see it. It looked similar to UAB.
I liked UAB's a lot, and I'm not hating on UAB. But what I didn't like UAB is how they were so separated from their football stadium. Like there's a little bit of
that's the knock. That's going to be the knock on UTSA. Until
that's the one thing. That's
okay.
the one thing now that's missing is an on-campus stadium.
Yeah, UAB's they're really nice, but sorry.
No, I was just going to say, how far did y'all say the stadium was? Because they're playing in the old Alamo Dome, so which is tight because when they're rolling like they're rolling, they're putting 50,000 in that thing.
100%. So the stadium's about, I think he said it was like 25, 30 minutes. And it's in like downtown San Antonio.
They said it's about 20 minutes. And we asked them, how is that on game days? And he said, sometimes it can be, a little tough, especially from a schedule standpoint, because sometimes it takes 20 minutes for them to get down there. They said sometimes if traffic's bad, it takes 45 minutes to get down there. And that could throw off a lot of stuff like with your schedule. So, I mean, I'm sure that, it looked like it was electric last year in the Alamo Dome when they were playing there. But, I mean, to have an on-campus stadium would be really nice.
While we're on UTSA, I just want to get this out. I want to go ahead and throw this, I'm going to say, smart bet and just upset alert. Whenever I saw those facility stuff, I went ahead and started looking at UTSA, what they have coming back. They're going to be pretty daggum good now. And 100%. Then they play Texas week 3 after Texas gets obliterated by Alabama week 2. Alabama hangover, UTSA takes Texas down or makes it very, very close. Whatever. Take the points or take the plus, whatever UTSA has.
UTSA's got a real good one week 1 too, playing Houston at home.
Yeah.
That's that's
so
huge. So that's like Boise UCF from last year. That's a huge Group of 5 game.
Yeah, and what I love about it is I asked, when we were talking to Sam, the assistant trainer, we were kind of talking about that, losing Sincere McCormick and a couple other pieces, but and I was like, well, you guys have a pretty tough, beginning part of the schedule. You're just kind of front loaded. And he goes, well, you can definitely look at it that way, but we look at it as like it's our time to show out because we're ready. And I was like, dude, you got it. I was like, that's the mentality you got to have. Like, I'm looking at it from an analysis standpoint of, man, it's tough up front, but if they can get through a couple of these games, and they're like, nah, like this is going to be our opportunity on the big stage to show everybody what UTSA is all about.
Y'all see what Traylor said at I think it was like the Texas high school coaches convention. That was tight. So
what did he say?
He said, so I think he said this while on stage with all of the college coaches in Texas, because I saw pictures of Jimbo Fisher, Steve Sarkisian, Coach Spav at Texas State, and I think he said this in front of all them, which if he did would be real hard. He said, I'm going to sound like a jerk here, but if you like the Horns, wear it in Austin. If you like the Bears, wear it in Waco. When you're in our city, rep the Roadrunners or leave. Oh,
boom.
What an absolute legend.
I hope he should have said that for all the coaches.
I hope he did. I don't know if he did or not. I didn't see a video of it, but I did see that they were all together. So
they're going to beat either Houston or Texas. I really think they'll beat one of those games.
I think they got to be the clear favorite in Conference USA
without question,
especially without Bill Clark at UAB. I think that's that kind of
agree.
puts them as the favorite. But
Yeah.
there's a lot to happen. Long season, we know that
For
but-
sure. And then we got the opportunity. We hit up those Twitter recommendation spots. We went to Pinkerton's Barbecue, which is downtown San Antonio, and I mean it was so good.
It was
I mean the
so
brisket
good.
was phenomenal. I mean it's probably some of the best brisket I've ever had personally, and got a couple boudin links. Jesse, you ever heard of boudin links?
No way.
Did you get it at the
don't
Walmart
have
or
that.
something?
No, we got it at Pinkerton's Barbecue.
Oh, cool. So,
But that was incredible. And then went to the Rustic, which is a bar recommendation that we got. And I mean, we were there during the day, so it wasn't like popping, but like the vibe it gave off, and it's got like a little outdoor stage. Like, and we're talking to the bartender. And
It
she was
wasn't.
like-
It wasn't a little stage.
No, yeah.
That area back there was huge. It
Yeah.
was, man.
She says it gets nuts in there.
that would have been really fun to go if we could have gone like that night or something. Live
Yeah.
band, massive like sitting and entertaining area, like entertainment area in the back. Like the Rustic looked like a lot of fun. Like for like nighttime.
I don't think the two of you missed out on any fun on Friday night. I mean, my God, I'm trying to survive the airport in Atlanta. I'm going through security. They're searching my bag. They confiscated my razor. I forgot about that. I did the free trial for this thing called Clear, so I could skip security, and they still confiscated half my stuff. But I'm getting text updates from these guys. And you know how you could tell through text, they're getting a little bit more tuned up as the night goes on. Where are you? Where are you? I'm like, dude, I'm boarding the plane. What do you want me to do? But I'll let you guys talk about your San Marcos journey until about 1 or 1:30 a.m. when I met up with you.
Tip,
I
you
don't know
want
if
to take
Tip,
the
you wanna take the reins here?
reins on the
Well-
beginning, and I'll finish her off.
Well, after we left Pinkerton's, we hit up a little par 3, 9-hole par
Right.
3 course, heading back up to San Marcos, San Pedro driving range, and we went there, hit a few golf balls, and then went up to the Airbnb, got checked in and everything, and found out that Kyle and the O lineman and some other teammates were going out. And so, Murph, you remember the first place that we went to? I can't remember the name.
Yeah, it
of
was Chimmy's. So apparently Chimmy's is like the starting point for most nights for those guys down in San Marcos. And I mean, it's a cool spot, man. It's got a cool vibe. It's kind of got like a beach vibe to it. But they got a bunch of, and let me tell you, boys, it's been a while since I've been out of like Middle Tennessee in general. Like at a place like this, cold beers were like $2 a pop. Mixed drinks were like $3.50. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this reminds me of like Murfreesboro when I first
Back
got
in the
there.
day.
Yeah. So we were there for a while. They got food too. And that's when we first met up with, the bulk of the crew. Kyle and Russell and Tweeter and a lot of these guys, man. I mean,
Evan, Lincoln.
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch of guys we met up at Chimmy's and just kind of started just chopping it up. And Kyle's adopted uncle, Suga Shane, was there. The little dime ski on his sleeve.
Sugar
going to the
Shane.
pharmacy. And he was, man, it was just a great time. We started off there, and they got this great strip, man. This great strip just basically goes like through the square, and it's got all these different restaurants and bars that they kind of just go from one to the next and have a good time. And what I love about it is as soon as we met those guys, like they gave off this vibe that they're brothers. And like they cut up with each other, they care about each other. They always got each other's backs. And it seriously reminded me of like our crew at Middle. Like
100%.
just what it reminded me of. And every bar they go to, they know people, working the door, working behind the counter. Like it was an awesome time. And we pretty much ran the marathon of San Marcos, and went to Axis was the next place, right, Tip?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we went down to Axis, and every bar has like its signature like cocktail. So kind of like how Jim's has, the eight liquor drink. There was like an Adios, Mother, the end of that one. And then what was the one at Chimmy's that we had to like, and everyone, you couldn't just sip it, like you had to like chug it down. Do you remember what that was called?
No, I don't remember what that one was called, but
Mind Eraser?
No, it had
No.
rum in it. It had like rum and I don't know. It had a couple of different liquors in it, but so each different bar like had its own signature cocktail that we were informed that you had to chug in one sitting.
This makes sense now.
So it just one thing, one
yes.
bar to the next,
They
and
were
it just
gone.
started escalating quickly. And I think Axis might have been probably one of my favorite ones.
I told Sprouse early. I believe we were at Axis. I said, Sprouse, I don't think we're gonna be able to work out in the morning.
Yeah, we were supposed to work out in their weight room. That's what they want. They want us to. Well, so I'll just tell you. So I get off the plane in San Antonio and I get in the cab and it's like a 50-minute cab ride. So like they're like, Sprouse, where are you? I'm
Hurry
like,
up.
I just got in the cab and in like the back of my mind, I'm thinking, there's no way in hell that they're still going to be rolling by the time I get back to San Marcos. So I tell the cab driver, I say, hey man, like, you think it'll be cool if you just keep the meter running? I'll drop my bags off at the Airbnb and then I'll go link up with these guys. So he's like, yeah, no problem. So I figure out where they're at. They're at this place called The Vault. And I'm texting. Well, I try to call Murph and he doesn't answer. I think he was a little bit more toasted than Tip was. And then I call Tip and I'm like, hey man, like, they're like, I'm like, the place closes in 30 minutes. There's a line around the block to get in. Tip's like, no, come to the front. And so I like see the place and I see Tip from across the street. And then I see this mammoth who I assume was the bouncer, but it was Hergel standing there. And Tip's like, he's got us. So Hergel knows the bouncer. We walk right through. We walk right in.
Jared Bamber working at Whiskey Dick's all over.
100%.
Yeah. Bamber and Campbell working at
Campbell,
Dick's. Yeah. And so I get in there. I'm only in there for like probably 30 minutes, I think. Before
God,
they
it felt like
close.
we were in there for like 2 hours at that point.
No, dude. And then so we get in the Uber. We'll tell that story off air probably. It's a little about Manish. But
Shout out Manish, the Uber driver. She was awesome.
Great Uber driver. And so then whatever. So that was cool. And then I mean we were up early, ready to roll.
Yeah, ready to rock and roll.
On Saturday.
No. What time did you get home? What time did you shut your eyes, Jeff Murphy, and fall asleep?
What time did I shut my eyes? Sprouse, do you know what time it was? Because I sure don't remember.
you
what
I'm
know,
time
saying, is
I
this like a
shut
3
up.
a.m.? 3 a.m.?
Oh, yeah.
2:30 to 3.
Every
yeah.
bit. Every bit.
And what time did y'all wake up?
7:30?
7:30.
I mean, we were supposed to work out at 8.
Yeah. So you know Murph Jesse, he does that thing where he just disappears he goes in and goes right to the room, goes to
He
sleep.
doesn't say
Like,
goodnight. It's one of those
we all
Irish
kind of hang
goodbyes.
out for a little bit, kind of recap. We're eating
Yeah.
Doritos and calling Zeke, whatever.
Yeah.
Murph's just already sound asleep. So then we get up. Of course, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm tired just from the long day, but I'm not hurting like them. And so we go over to the facility.
Can I cut you off just real quick
Yeah,
for you
go
to
for it.
facility because this is pretty
Yeah.
funny because I think you only got about 4 hours of sleep, so you're probably a little still toasted. I wake up to having all these missed FaceTime, whatever, and I'm still getting them, and it's like 7 a.m. and it's Tyler Tipton FaceTiming me, and I'm just ignoring it. He calls me again, and then finally I'm like, okay, maybe something's wrong. So I was like, is there an emergency? And he goes, no, I just want to say hi. And so I said, okay. And so then I go back to sleep. It's Jeff Murphy, and I ignore it. And he goes, it's a beep emergency. Answer the phone. I was like, no, it's not. No emergency. But that was
Oh,
fun.
man.
It was an
That was
emergency. I
pretty
needed
fun.
to speak with you.
Needed
Important
to
business
check in with
matter.
you. Courtesy check. That's all that was. But no, so we get
Still-
up to the facility about 9. We link up with Sherm, and he gives us the rundown of the facilities. They've got, what I'll say about their stuff is they have nice stuff, but they're due and they are renovating. So they got a new weight room coming. They have the new weight room equipment. They're just not in the building yet. So it's kind of hard to make a full judgment on that. I would say that the equipment is top of the line power lift stuff. I thought their team meeting room was just as nice as anybody else, maybe a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The cool part about Texas State, everything's right there. So yeah, UAB and UTSA might have nicer stuff, but you drive across town to go to the stadium and they just walk out the locker room and they're on the field. So you know, it's pros and cons of both. Stadium wise, I think we all thought the stadium was similar to Troy's.
Yeah.
Um,
As far as the architecture and stuff.
yeah, just kind of the architecture and layout of it. I think they said they got some new turf coming in on that. But they had all the pictures of their new renovations up, and the new stuff's going to be really nice, really, really nice. I mean, we talked to the president and the assistant AD about it, and they were fired up. So.
Let me ask a question here. Speaking of turf, why get turf? I feel like the cool thing now is to have artificial, artificial, having like legit quality grass.
It's more
I
expensive.
know you got to keep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna take a guess here, but as hot and as dry as it is in Texas, I would imagine your, irrigation bills would probably be astronomical.
So probably the A&Ms and Longhorns of the Texas world.
Well, Texas plays on turf, don't they?
I don't know. Do they?
Yeah, Texas
Okay.
plays on turf. I don't know about A&M.
Well, maybe that's just
they're
a
probably
question.
grass.
Just would you rather play on grass or turf? Me personally, I would rather play on grass.
Oh, I wish they'd get rid of turf altogether.
Yeah.
But from a financial standpoint, I'm pretty sure that's all it is. It's just maintaining the grass is too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And unless you're in a place that gets enough rain and sun, there's really no point. I mean, hell, we saw the golf course and it was brown everywhere but the greens and fairway pretty much.
How hot was it out there for y'all? I mean,
it was warm.
It was
feel
close
like
to it was close to 100.
Yeah,
I just
It
see
wasn't-
myself
it
wasn't
chafing up
humid.
there.
I didn't think it was as bad. I
No.
mean, it wasn't that bad.
No.
It was hot, no question.
The only thing different is if I'd gone on that trip, you bet your ass we'd done that river tour. I'd have been like, boys, we're going to the river right now because
Well, it just gives
Hole
us something
7.
Yeah,
to
something to go back
to,
for.
But
Well, so I'll say this: the coolest part about the facilities was, again, it's a Saturday at 9 a.m. and there was 20 skill guys out there throwing
I
routes,
would say
running routes.
anybody that was around was out there. Like
Yeah.
if anybody was in town, they were out there.
And then, of course, Hergel's in there, damn lifting at 8:30 a.m., like sweating his ass off. Been in there for an hour. It looked like that.
maybe the quality of players have just changed since we were there because ain't none of us that were in there on extra weekends and Sundays. Or maybe when you have NIL, maybe you have more motivation to go in there on Saturdays and working out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I will say this, like the amount of transfers, and this is what I kind of heard.
Yeah.
I think I read this, that the coach is really trying to just embrace like the transfer portal and getting as many of these transfers because they got a ton of guys. And you would think that would be a little bit of an issue trying to get, all these different transfers that are coming in that don't really necessarily know each other to gel. But let me tell you, these guys are tight knit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the most tight knit groups that I've come across. And I think we've talked about it too. Last year their combined losses, it was all very close.
Yep.
Not a lot of points. So it's only a couple, changes or plays in the game that can turn your losing season into a winning season. So, I mean, they got the guys and they got the family atmosphere between them. Now, if they can just put it all together on the field and the coaches put together, a good game plan. I mean, they got, Lane Hatcher coming in from Arkansas State, which I think is a huge piece. And I got to see him throw. I mean, he can spin it just as good as any of the other guys that I've seen in the group of 5. So, I think that's going to be a big piece. And, I mean, their O-line is massive.
Was he a 5-star? Was he a 5-star in high school?
I don't think so.
4?
I don't know what he was. He
look at those stars.
He went to
be honest.
Bama, and then he was in the QB room with Tua, Jalen Hurts, and Mac Jones. So I mean, come on.
Good point, Jeff. We don't care about stars. Sorry.
But
No, I've hated those. Like I couldn't even tell you who gives people the stars. So if I don't even know
if you pay to go to the Rivals camp, Rivals gives you an extra star.
Yeah. So
Dude,
I think they're prime. Sprouse was my point.
Listen, what I'll say about stars, and I know you're making a face over there.
I was going to say something smart.
The former head of Rivals.com thinks that the only reason Arch Manning is a 5-star recruit is because his name is Manning. So that shows you that it's not. I mean, they're giving stars based on shorts and T-shirt camps that they put on. So. Now, granted, yes, if they see, Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State just offered this kid, maybe he's then they probably add stars. But it's not like it's not like these guys are going to every single high school in the country scouting people. Yeah. They don't have the people or time. But anyway, I mean, neither here nor there. What I'll say, and I was talking to, Coach Ham, their O-line coach, a little bit about it, and we were just, chopping it up on the golf course. It seems they're real similar. If you guys remember when we had Teddy Gallagher on from Coastal, and they went, I think, 4-8 or something like that. And what he told us is like, yeah, but we lost like 6 of those games by single digits, and we were in them in the fourth quarter. He's like, so we all knew we were pretty good. We were just missing a spot. And then in the spring, we saw Grayson McCall, and we said, oh, we got our QB. Like, we know we're about to be good. The world just doesn't know. And then they rattled off 10 wins or 11 wins or whatever it is. It sort of seems like Texas State is in that spot right now. Now, can they put it all together? Who knows? Defensively, who knows? But they got a bunch of transfers. It seems like they got a great freaking bond. Great relationship with their coaches too, man. And I mean, again, you got 25 guys, 30 guys out there working out on a Saturday morning, two weeks before camp too.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think those guys are like dreading getting out there right now, but they're not.
In Sprouse, they don't have just transfers. They have transfers coming in with college football playing experience.
Yeah.
And most of them have 2, 3, 4 years left of eligibility.
Yep.
They are so young. They were so young last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're bringing in all these guys together on one team with this much college football playing experience. Like, I mean, we've all talked about it, and like what you were just saying, Sprouse, like they are right there on the cusp. Like, and it would not surprise any of us if they go this year and rattle off 8, 9, 10 wins.
I think I think I was looking today. I think Vegas has them at like 5.5.
Take the over.
For win total. So, and that was the other thing is they have been so young, and this is kind of the year. Like last year with Louisiana, the year before with Coastal, were the years that they had their their COVID seniors. So like they had all these guys that are 5th and 6th year seniors that were still there, So and Texas State has just been so young, but
yeah.
Dare I do this? I'm probably going to upset a lot of people. I just want to go through their schedule and say win or loss and piss y'all off. Let's see what happens here. Week 1, Texas State, Nevada. At Nevada, loss, 0-1. FIU at Texas State, win, 1-1. Texas State at Baylor, loss, 1-2. Week 4, HBU, you don't know who that is. They're going to win that. They'll be 2-2. Texas State, James Madison, 2-3. App State, Texas State, 2-4. Texas State at Troy, close. Probably going to determine the rest of their season in this game. I'm going to say they beat Troy, so that's going to be a 3-4. Southern Miss, they win. They're back to 4-4. Texas State, Lyle Monroe, 5-4. Texas State, South Alabama, 6-4. Louisiana, Texas State, upset. They may win 7 games this year. That's just my prediction. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, that'd be a heck of a turnaround.
It'd be a good turnaround. And I think going to Nevada, I mean, they lost their whole coaching staff. There's a lot of questions at Nevada. So, I mean, I think they actually got a pretty good shot to start the season off with a couple wins going into some big games. But
it's a good point. You beat Nevada, then you're like, okay, this is a different Texas State team, right? This is what y'all are. Well, it proves what y'all are talking about.
Yeah.
And you got to see what guys do on the field. But let me just say this. Some of the guys they look the part.
Boy.
Yeah. I mean, just from a physical standpoint, I mean, if they can't put it on the field, that's a whole other thing. I think they can. I mean, and I got, we got to see him throw routes and throw seven on some of these guys. That kid, and he walks into the bar. This guy's, I mean, he was prime time. He had the gold chain. I don't even know if they were Gucci glasses, but he had these gold frame glasses. I mean, he looked the part. He looked sharp, dude. Julian Ortega-Jones. I'm pretty sure that's who the kid was.
He's got the name.
6'2", 200. And I'm talking to the guy. He goes, "Yeah, I'm a slot." I said, "Hold on a second." I said, "You're a slot?" He goes, "Yeah, I like to, I'm on the inside." I was like, "I know what a slot is." I was like, "So you're fast?" I said, "But this kid can run for 6." I mean, he's
and he can catch.
And he can
everything.
Catch. So it's one of those things, man. If you get these guys in the right spots, I mean, if he's going up against a linebacker, he's strong enough to get off the jam, and he's fast enough to outrun him. So I don't know who's going to guard him on the inside, and I don't necessarily know exactly who they have on the outside to supplement him. But, man, and then their running back. I mean, this guy from Oklahoma State, looks the part. I mean, I'm fired up. I mean, I'm sold. I'm sold on Texas State.
At least 7 wins. Oops,
They
sorry.
might have a few more than that, but we'll see.
We'll get to this. We'll get to our Sun Belt preview later on.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
But real quick, just in the interest of time, just because then we went out and golfed. Well, we got those breakfast tacos from Chepo's.
So
Those
fire.
are fantastic. And then, I mean, dude, shout out to Suga Shane for putting
Yeah,
the golf
big
thing
time.
together, man. The Bandit Golf
Yes.
Club. I mean, what a cool course. I mean, cool pro shop, cool little bar and grill in there.
It's all
I mean, it
top
was
notch.
set up perfect, dude. To have whatever we had, 16 guys out there golfing, and
Yep. And Coach
we didn't
Ham.
see, and to not see another golf. I mean, like that course was slammed, and we didn't see anybody else out there.
Was it mainly the O-line out there with y'all?
No, I mean it was
it was-
majority.
Well,
but
let me say so. But
there was, like,
was there at
6
least
O-linemen
like 6
and-
O-linemen? Okay.
The Hatcher was out
Yeah.
there, the quarterback, which that some bitch can golf.
Yeah, he
Good
can.
God.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tweeter, my
Uh,
boy Tweeter out there, dude. This guy, they call him Tweeter. His name's Chandler, I believe, and he's just got this thick blonde stash. And I was like, dude, every time I look at you, I just smile. Like, you just crack me up. He was an awesome dude.
Yeah. But then, so golf was golf. It was typical. I mean, we were all having a good time. I was playing terrible. These guys and Shane carried our team, and we still finished last. But, one cool part, too, was if y'all remember, we rolled up to that tee box where they were out there in the pool in their backyard. Bunch of older folks, probably in their, I don't know, mid-60s probably. They're playing cornhole. They're at the pool. They're drinking, whatever. And we just get to talking. The one guy's got a Texas A&M hat on. And I go, hey, man, I said, well, why don't we trade that out for a Texas State hat? He's like, oh, well, I'm a graduate of Texas A&M. I said, hey, man, that's fair. Fair enough. But then, Coach Ham and Kyle come up. We're talking to this guy. I said, well, this is like their starting O-line, and that's the O-line coach right there. They come up, shake the guy's hand. They're talking to him for a minute. Now, this guy's like, yeah, man, hey, I'll check out a game this year. I'll support y'all. So now this guy, he's probably not going to be a diehard fan, but he's going to come check out a game. And maybe if he's got kids or grandkids that live locally, you start going to games, you start tailgating. That whole party, there was probably 10, 12 people at that party. They do the same thing. But that's what it takes. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We talked about it with Will Healy. We talked about it with Lee last week. We talked about it with Coach Ham this weekend. Like, those relationships are what's going to get your community behind you. They're like, I mean, we let the one guy take my tee shot. He's probably like, those guys are awesome. I took somebody's tee shot. Golf.
Yeah, I'm thinking that guy that y'all talked to at the pool, he might be an A&M guy. Probably not even an A&M ticket holder. But I guarantee he tells his friends about Texas State coming and talk to him. He's going to remember talking to the O-line coach and talking to one of their best offensive linemen. Every time Texas State's on, he's going to remember that and be pulling for them. I mean, it's it's small. You got to start
100%.
somewhere.
100%, dude. And then when,
It's
if
my whole
everything,
life.
I wish I would have got you on the video. Dude.
if everything works out, and Kyle goes to the Senior Bowl, maybe he gets drafted or gets picked up in the league, that guy's going to feel like he knows him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like you said, he probably doesn't even go to A&M games. He probably sits right there in that backyard and watches.
I said he's probably a Texas.
Oh, you did? I thought you said
So he might be a season ticket holder, but when he's there, he'll still talk to all his buddies and stuff about the Texas State guy.
Yeah.
Or like you said, if he's not, now he's going to
say, look, I'm at their starting 5-0 line, and guess what? Them boys are just as big as anybody I've ever seen from Texas A&M. So maybe it's not this big talent gap that everybody's talking about. But anyway, then we
Sounds
went
like
to
y'all had
some
a
local
blast,
bar.
man.
Yeah, the Watering Hole.
That
had a
place
few
was
drinks.
tight, man. It reminded me
live band.
of Roadhouse, the movie Roadhouse. Like just the old, like kind of dark wood everywhere. Got a pool table in there, which I was smoked
Jesse, you would've
Richard
loved
on the
this.
pool table.
We all come in from golf. Everybody's sweaty. We got our golf polos on. Murph takes off his polo and puts a tank top on to walk into the bar. I mean,
No.
come
Hold on.
No, ain't no hold on about
10
it.
months
No,
ago, that guy
no,
would have
no,
done
no.
that.
No, he wouldn't have.
Well, I mean, you're right about that. But my point is, that was my river stuff because I had the tank in my trunk for the river, and I was sweating on that golf course in that polo.
Did you take your shirt off actually in the restaurant in front of everybody?
No, I took it off in the parking lot at the golf course.
In front of everybody.
Of course.
You got it. Show it. That's what I do.
Yeah. But, No, man. Anyway, but it was a really good time. I mean, we wish we could have got to
Fantastic,
do
man.
more. Hopefully we'll get back out there. I mean, eventually we will get back out there. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But both UTSA.
Conference championship.
You don't go that far just yet. We
Fired
gotta-
up.
said
If they
I'm
host
fired up.
it, if
I
they
got
host it,
my
we're
Sugar
going.
Shane's
If
hat on.
anything,
I got
Texas
Sugar
we're
Shane's
going.
on.
Texas State does not want to hear that because the last
Yeah.
time you talked about USA winning a conference championship, they
Charlotte.
almost lost the rest of their games
Yeah,
that
that
season.
was my fault. Yeah. Hey, side note, last thing. If you are in San Marcos area, you're looking for a quality, reliable landscape company, Turfco. Holler at our boy, Sugar Shane.
Go, Sugar Shane.
Yep. You want something to look good and you want to deal with somebody that's a good dude. So shout out to him. That was not a paid advertisement, but we like the guy. But that's all we got for you, man. UTSA, Texas State. Awesome. They hate each other, by the way. I mean, my God.
I love the Twitter back
They've
and
been,
forth.
they've been going
that
back and
was
forth
just-
for 3
but
days.
That's what it's about, man. Like,
It
rep
is.
your squad, rep your team, and that's what we want. We want the back and forth between the two teams that hate
I wish
each
they
other,
need to
that are
call.
rivals.
They need to call the hotline. I want to hear some
That's right.
angry voicemails about
is
how much
true.
they
Call the
hate each
hotline.
other.
615-900-4286. Call the hotline, talk trash to each other.
And here's the thing: is UTSA. So they have like a trophy, kind of like the Palladium for Middle and Troy, and UTSA has had it for like over a decade, and they don't play. They don't play all the time.
That's why they don't play every year.
No, they don't. But the last they've had it for the last 3 or 4 times at least that they played each other. It was in Traylor's office. He said it's one of his most proudly held trophies.
That's awesome. Well, our next episodes leading up to the season are going to be conference preview episodes, so y'all be ready for those. We're gonna need y'all to call in with some bold takes, hot takes on that.
Let the controversies
Who?
begin.
What conference are we doing first, Sprouse?
Should be doing the American Conference first. Next
Dark
week
horse.
should be the American
Dark
Conference.
horse.
Call in.
So you guys call in. You UCF folks that have been all over Twitter, call in, please. But yeah, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, all your podcast platforms. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Group of Five Guys. Again, call the hotline 615-900-4286. Group of5guys.com for some swag. That's all we got. We'll see y'all next week.